Hi, greetings, welcome. Thanks for coming to my channel, Robert the Appraiser. My name's Robert Hall, and we're still covering bedrooms. I wanted to really make sure that we covered this in many different facets. Today we're going to talk about the bi-level. Now, I've said this in previous videos about bedrooms that it may seem like a rudimentary question, being able to count bedrooms, but that wouldn't be so considering the fact that there probably isn't 1 week go by in my appraisal practice that someone doesn't come to me with a serious, legitimate, and reasonable question about bedroom count. Oftentimes, for example, knowing whether you can or cannot count the bedrooms that are in a finished area of a lower level, especially if the lower level is partially above ground, has good lighting and things like that. The questions and answers aren't always that obvious. And I get these questions all the time, and that's why I'm making a whole series on bedroom count. Today, we're going to look at the considerations we have to give when we have a house that is a bi-level with a large amount of the lower level above ground with very good windows, lighting, oftentimes a walkout basement, fully finished downstairs or partly finished. So let's go ahead and get into it. So what we have here is often referred to as a bi-level. Some people call it a raised ranch. It's also referred to as a split level home. It's very common in many parts of the United States of America. This is one of the houses that has the most controversy, you might say, and even if the real estate professionals are very clear as to how to count the bedrooms, often the homeowner isn't. And so as a realtor or an appraiser, we need to know the facts, because oftentimes we'll get pushback from the homeowner. Now I want you to look at the first floor windows on the bottom on the right. Those are bedrooms, okay? That's 2 bedrooms, 2 small lower level bedrooms that are being used as bedrooms. Now this is actually a hypothetical case, okay? But it's modeled after cases that I see all the time. I've seen hundreds of cases like this where those bottom right windows are windows into bedrooms where people are sleeping and residing, okay? Now, the homeowner will almost invariably call that bedrooms and expect that it is counted in the bedroom count. However, there's only one right way to count these rooms, and it is not coming as an opinion from the appraiser or from the realtor. It comes by the standards of professional practice of our industry, which have been adopted into laws, okay? Congress, both state and federal, have adopted the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice into law. So we need to go ahead and do it the way that it is written about in the standards, more so than whether the homeowner prefers it or whether the realtor thinks it makes sense or if the appraiser thinks it makes sense. But now that you've seen the front of the house and you understand that the bottom 2 windows are going into residential bedrooms, let me show you a floor plan of the house. On the left, we've got the upper level, which is known as the first floor, even though it's not the first from the bottom up. It's actually the second floor from the bottom up, but it is considered the first floor because it is the first floor, which is 100% above grade. Okay, that's on the left. On the right, what we've had here is considered the gross basement area. And yes, many people will say, no, it's not a basement, or it's a lower level, or it's finished with the same quality as the other level. It should just be considered a 2-story. The problem is this house that we're looking at has a lower level that is halfway below grade. It has short windows extending above grade. It has some walkout area in the rear, but generally much of it is below grade, and so it is technically and legally a basement with some finishes. Now, if you notice, I want you to just, I know this is kind of a long story, but this will help you in your real estate practice. if you just really familiarize yourself with how this works, because even if you're pretty clear, your homeowner often will not be, and it'll be your job to explain it to them with authority and with clarity and with certainty. Okay, so the first floor, which is on the left, I want you to notice it only has one full bath. That's in the top, about the middle, and it has a half bath. So it's a 1.5 bath on the first floor. Then there are 3 bedrooms on the first floor. There's also a foyer, a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room. Now, when we go downstairs to the lower level, you see a line partitioning right down the middle. Everything on the left side is an unfinished area. There's a laundry room. There are utilities, the furnace, the water heater, the electric panel, and the area is unfinished. Okay, concrete floor, concrete walls. You can see the studs and the rafters. You have minimum electric and things like that. On the right side of the partition, you see that there's a full bath, a family room, and 2 additional bedrooms. So I'm going to show you some areas in the appraisal report itself, and the purpose of this is not so that you become very familiar with the report so that you can find and locate these things in an appraisal report. That's not our goal here. What I really want to do is, by showing you where these indications are located in the appraisal report, and when you see how they are abbreviated, you'll understand that what's happening with the homeowner when they say that I didn't count all their bedrooms or all their bathrooms, it's not that they weren't counted, it's that the homeowner does not know how to read the appraisal report. And I'm going to show you that it's not obvious to the untrained eye. It's only obvious to appraisers and people who are trained in reviewing appraisals. So, for example, if you look at what I've got on the screen right now, this is called the adjustment grid, and it's on the second page of the appraisal report, the standardized report that all appraisers use for all residential appraisals. Okay, now across the top, what I've got are 4 addresses. On the left, it's the address of the subject property. Now, these are hypothetical addresses because this is just a case study, and it's just contrived. Okay, so these aren't real addresses, obviously. For the subject, I've got 426 subject property way. For comparable 1, I've got 12105 comparable 1 way, and so on. Okay, but if you start with a subject property, which is on the left, if you go down from the address, I want you to go down to a little past the halfway point, and you can see in the column it says above grade room count gross living area, and then there's a line, and below that line it says basement and finished rooms below grade. So you see, these are delineated into very separate boxes, and they're not able to be commingled. Okay, so the appraiser has no leeway. There's no subjectivity here. So let's just look, considering the same house we've been working with, our Bilevel. You saw the front of the house. You saw the floor plan. And I want you to notice the word total means total rooms, and it's referring to everything that is above grade. And then the abbreviation where it says BDRMS, that's bedrooms, the number 3. Now in baths, it says 1.1. And see, here's another thing that trips up a lot of homeowners is when they see 1.1 and they say, oh, no, we have 2.5. Well, the problem with that is one of those baths that they're counting in the 2.5 is below grade, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But this 1.1 is actually how, in appraisal numbers, it means 1 and 1/2, 1 full and 1/2 bath. So 1.1 is 1.5 baths. See, the point I'm showing you is that when your homeowner gets his appraisal and starts looking it over, it seems to be obvious that the appraiser made some serious errors. But it's not an error on the appraiser's side. It's the fact that the homeowner doesn't know how, understandably doesn't know how to read the appraisal report. Let's continue on and go down to the next section, which is called basement and finished rooms below grade. See, the section above clearly said above grade, and the section below says below grade. Now, the way that below grade is defined, unfortunately, and a lot of people disagree with this, and I understand why they do, that if any of the area is below grade, then the whole area is considered below grade. There's no it's not a dimmer switch, it's a light switch. It's on off. Okay, so if any of it, as in the case of our bi-level, is below grade, then the entire section is counted in the below grade finish. Now, I want to show you how this works out. It says 1150 SF. That means 1150 square feet of gross area. The entire basement or below grade area is 1150 square feet. Then it says 600 SFIN. That's 650 square feet finished. Then going down to the next line where it says 1RR 2BR 1.0BA20. Okay, now I know that's a lot of hieroglyphics. You might have some Navy code breaker looking at that, scratching his head, wondering what all that means. I know recently a loan officer who I've known for over 30 years, very professional, called me, thought I had left off a bedroom and a bathroom from an appraisal, and I went through that very line showing her, let me show you what it really means. The 1RR means one room, okay, one recreation room. That's what that means, one recreation room. The 2BR means two bedrooms. The 1.0BA means one bath, and the 2O means two others. So see, all the rooms are counted in the appraisal. They're just counted in the appropriate boxes, in the appropriate places, and that's why a lot of people will think that I've missed a bedroom or two bedrooms or a bathroom because it isn't clearly delineated on the report. So what I'm doing so far is I'm showing you how there's no subjectivity to counting bedrooms, yet there are rules and standards for doing so, which may not seem to make sense to the average person or even someone who is highly qualified, such as a real estate agent. I want to show you this little section here, which is contained on page 1 of the appraisal report, and it's got a heading called Foundation. And you can see for our subject, which is our bi-level that we've been working with, I have these choices. I have concrete slab, crawl space, full basement, partial basement. I've checked full basement for our test house. And I've entered into the basement area 1150 square feet. I've measured the finished area, which is 52%. Now, those numbers are carried over from a software that I use to sketch the program which does those calculations. So these numbers are populated into my report. They're not numbers that I enter in manually. See, the report doesn't give the appraiser unlimited room to type in the types of numbers that he might want to. It's all populated, okay? I want to show you another section here. This is also on page 1 of the report near the bottom. This is important, so please bear with me. If you see here, it says finished area above grade contains 7 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1.1 bathrooms. That means 1 full and 1 half bath. 1,198 square feet of gross living area above grade. Now notice the very last 2 words are above grade, and at the very beginning it starts out above grade. And that above is bolded. Now those are not words that the appraiser typed in, okay? Those words are standardized and bolded, and they're in the report. They're not able to be changed. So you can see that the standardized report that the appraiser must use doesn't give the appraiser any subjectivity in where he's going to put rooms that are not above grade. Now you see in the next line, the second line down, when it says additional features, special energy efficient items, from that point on, everything else I typed in, and I want to show you where I gave credit for the basement bathroom, the basement bedrooms, and the basement square footage. It says room count as follows. I wrote that. 3 bedrooms, living room, kitchen with breakfast corner, dining room, foyer. If you add all that up, that's 7. That's where the 7 rooms came in. That's where the 3 bedrooms came in. But in the next line, the very last line, I typed this. It says there is a full basement, partially finished with 2 additional bedrooms, 1 additional bathroom, and additional living areas. So you see, in the report, I'm delineating the space and the rooms and the bathrooms, the above grade finish from the below grade finish. Now, this is a common question that I get, and I'll tell you, it's part of why I'm making this channel, because I get this question all the time. Can you count that? Now, that, fill in the blank. Can you count this? Can you count that? Can you count the finish in the basement? Can you count the bathrooms in the basement? Can you count the bedrooms in the basement? Can you count the basement? Can you count the garage? You know, can you count everything? Can you count the bonus room? Can you count the non-conforming space? And the answer is yes, 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 and yes. Everything gets counted. That's what I'm showing you. There's nothing that doesn't get counted. So what I've done here is I've taken just a screenshot excerpt from the very report that we've been working on, okay, our test case bi-level subject property. And what you have in the upper left corner here is the address of our hypothetical house, 426 Subject Property Way. And then you see comps 1, 2, and 3 across the top. You see their addresses. And I want you to notice all I am showing you here are the above grade room count with gross living area delineated from the basement and basement finish. Now, I want to show you an adjustment that we're going to make for these bathrooms so that you can see, and if you have a client who is concerned about how you're going to list the house, you can see that they will get full credit for their basement that is for their bedroom and bathroom in the basement, even though it's not counted in the main living area. So let me show you this adjustment graph that I've given you here. It says bath adjustments. 1 full bath above grade equals 12,000. 1 full bath below grade equals 12,000. 1 half bath above grade equals 6,000. 1 half bath below grade equals 6,000. So what you see is, as an appraiser, I give credit of $12,000 per bath, whether it's up or down, whether it's above grade or below grade. Now, this is just a hypothetical test house. That's going to vary from one house to another. I'm just showing you that, yes, the answer is that the bath in the basement does get counted, and it does get credit, and it does contribute both to the sale price, the value of the property, and the appraised value. So back to our grid. I want to just draw your attention to the comparison between the subject, which has 7 rooms, 3 bedrooms, and 1.1 bathrooms. That's 1 full and 1 half above grade. And you see the comp, which is almost the same, except above grade baths are 2 instead of 1.1, which is 1.5. And you see a negative $6,000. Okay? So you see that our subject is being penalized half of a bath in that first column, $6,000. But if you drop down to the last line in that grid, you see where the subject property has 1 full bath in the basement, and the comp doesn't have any baths in the basement, and you see the plus $12,000. See, that's where the basement bath is included in the appraisal. It's included in the value of the real estate, and it is increasing the property value of the subject. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this course in bedroom count bi-level example. I thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.